No, I mean, I would have thought Spin would have been warm today because I bet if the weather holds, it's going to be lovely on Bank Holiday Monday for Spin.
Yeah. Mm.
All right. Okay. Perfect. We are good to rock and roll. So if you're joining us on YouTube, welcome. Oh, he has got a large cone, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's a bigger one as well.
Oh, I
Yeah.
messaged you
Oh
the
yeah,
super
cool.
thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had the small cone on, and somehow this morning he managed to get it off in the conservatory, and then he was spoiled by the fact I then appeared with a bigger cone and put that straight on him.
That was his last chance then with the small cone.
Yeah, well, he's had it on all week, and he hadn't got it off all week. But I don't know what he did this morning in the conservatory. Next thing I knew, he didn't have it. And I was like, oh. I said, well, here we go, and like with the next one.
That's his last chance cooked then.
But this one is particularly big. We don't know how long this will survive. His ear keeps popping out the other side, so we don't know.
Oh, bless him.
He doesn't like himself, because I've just given him pills in a treat stick, and I've just given him his knee treatment as well.
Bless him. Yeah,
He's really had it today.
I messaged you that sunblock product I use.
Perfect. I don't think his sensitive skin's going to go anywhere fast, is it?
No, and it'll be really good if we get a heat wave in the summer, it'll definitely it'll form up a really nice protective barrier for his skin.
Mm.
Alrighty, okay, what do we need to stretch today?
Well, everyone's done cycling by the sound of it.
There's been a bit of a run on hips and shoulders this week. Last week it was ankles and feet. This week I've had a run on hips and shoulders. We can do that?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's fine. Shoulders.
Shoulders?
Yeah,
Aren't joining us as well.
Always legs.
Supervising. Oh no, he's got distracted, Sue. He's now looking out the window.
Oh, Alfie's just gone. He's
That is hopeless.
He's climb out the window in a minute. Out the front
Right,
window.
well he's not doing his duties, is he?
No, I think he's looking. Yeah, he's looking outside now to see who's going past the house.
Yeah, well, he needs to keep an eye on you, is what he needs to do.
Yeah, he does. Keep me safe.
Yes, spot you. All right, we need some more training. Okay, join us on YouTube. Welcome. We're going to start in seated. So.
Oh yeah, this is the update. Yeah, it tells you. Yes, I know I'm being recorded.
I think it must be something to do with GDPR. She's very annoying. All right, as I've muted you, so if you need me manually, unmute yourselves. If you join us on YouTube, welcome on YouTube. Okay, we are going to be in seated. Might close my curtain actually. There we go. Alrighty, so making the legs comfortable. Just shuffling across until you can find equal amounts of weight through both sitting bones. Good, resting the hands where they feel relaxed and comfortable for you. Lifting the crown of the head to create some length in your spine. You can feel how the hips and lower back feel lighter when we lift up. Good, and then a little body scan here, just noticing how your body is feeling right now. Maybe noticing any tension that your body is holding on to. Places where your body is trying to grip. Take a little roll of the shoulders here, just a really informal roll. So if you do have any tension in your neck, upper back or shoulders, we can start to roll those away with some gentle movements. And then bringing the shoulders forwards. Bam. And then a little shake and a shrug out. Big breath in with the shoulders up. Exhale, let him go. Do that again. Big breath in with the shoulders up. Exhale, let him go. One more time. and release. Good. Taking the right ear to the right shoulder, just a little neck tilt. Breathing into the middle, exhaling to the left, again, another little tilt. Breath in middle, tilting to your right. Breathing in and heading to the left. Great, turning the head to the middle. Let's breathe the left arm up, right hand on the floor beside you. On the exhale, soften the right elbow. Relax the left shoulder into your side bend. If you feel your left sitting bone trying to lift off the mat, use your right hand to gently roll you back onto your sitting bone. Good, breathing in, right arm lifts. On the exhale, little side bend. Good. Let's try it again. Breathe in, wimble the arms over. Exhale. Notice if your body's trying to hold on to you anywhere. If it is, where do you need to invite the body to let go? Good. Breathing in again. And exhale. Again, just seeing if your body's trying to grip and seeing where you can let go. Let's take a twist now. Let's bring the arms to your right. Breathe in, lift your chest. Exhale, turning to your right shoulder. We can use our back arm here to prop ourselves up so we keep our spine long and safe. Good, let's breathe in, change sides. On the exhale, relaxing the shoulders into the turn. Both hands behind. Breathe in, lift chest and chin. On the exhale, soften the shoulders down your spine, away from your ears. And then lowering the chin, bringing the hands forwards. Breathe in, find some length in your ribs. On the exhale, start to tip forward. We might stay up on the hands. We might climb down to the forearms, the elbows. Again, notice if your lower body, notice if your body, particularly your lower back or your hips or shoulders, are trying to hold on to you. And see if you can invite them to relax and to let go. Gently walk the hands in. Fab, okay. We're gonna take a little swing into all fours, bringing hands into shoulders, knees into hips. Taking us into cow, hollowing the back, lifting the tailbone. Breathing out, rounding to cat, tucking the tailbone. Again, in breath, hollowing to cow, sending the chest forwards. Exhale, rounding the back, dropping the head into cat. Again, just breathe and move freely here. Noticing if your body's trying to grip or hold on to you. And again, seeing how you can invite your body to let go. Take a couple more. And when you're ready, coming to your flat back, get your knees wider than your hips now, bring the big toes together. Let's fold our hips back into a wide child's pose, choosing to rest on our forearms or reaching the arms forwards and resting the head down. And whatever feels right for you. Starting to deepen the breath now, so expanding the back of the lungs, the back of the rib cage. Good. And then lifting the forehead so we can walk our hands to the left-hand side of our mat. And then sitting back into child's pose again to invite length into the right-hand side of your body. And then lifting the forehead to walk the hands over to the right-hand side of your mat. Then just settling the hips back until you can feel that stretch down the left side of your body. Bringing the hands back through the middle. Seeing if your child's pose feels the same now to when we started into the pose. And then bring the hands in, push the forehead off the mat, and we're going to take a little roll onto our backs. So lowering onto your side hip, side shoulder, then using your arms and legs to roll you to the middle of your mat. Knees are bent, feet are flat, about hip width apart, but more importantly, toes pointed to the bottom of the mat, so the feet aren't turning outwards or inwards, and we're not twisting into our knees or lower back. Okay, once you're in the middle of your mat, just do a little body scan and check head, shoulders, hips, and feet in one vertical line, so we're not twisting our spine. Once we're happy we're settled in the middle of our mat, we can bring the arms just down by our sides. And just rest here for a moment, relax your chin, relax your jaw. And again, scan your body, noticing how your body has naturally arranged itself on the floor. Notice the contact points your body is making with the ground, and then how your body curves in between those contact points. Acknowledge any areas of tension or tightness that might become apparent as you continue to scan your body. So we're going to do some really informal pelvic tilts. So not like Pilates pelvic tilts. These are really casual and informal. So we're going to keep our feet really light on the mat, so we're not tempted to use our legs to drive the movement. Rounding our lower back into the mat as if we want to create an imprint of our lumbar spine. And then arching our lower back away from the mat. You might feel the base of the spine, the tailbone, beginning to press more deeply into the mat. And then continuing to round the lower back, imprinting the lumbar spine, and then curling the lower back away from the mat. Again, just moving smoothly between these two positions. Trying to keep the feet and the legs really light and passive. So a really nice movement to do first thing in the morning and then again in the evening. Okay, we will always have postures that we favor, whether it's a sleeping posture, a standing posture, a sitting posture, a walking posture. And when we hold any posture for a period of time, particularly seated, where the pelvis and the hips are fixed, then the muscles become very braced and tight to hold that posture. So if, for example, so the pelvis, the lower back might start to feel quite grippy. These little soft pelvic tilts are a really nice way to get some movement into your hips, sacrum, and lower spine. Movement creates circulation of blood flow back into these muscles. So we'll take a couple more. Again, moving at your own pace, so you might do more, you might do less, it doesn't matter. And just letting your pelvis find a middle position, somewhere between those 2 points, where your lower back feels really comfortable for you. Once you've settled, take the arms out wide, palms facing up to ceiling. Nestle your shoulders comfortably into your mat to create a fixed point across your shoulder girdle. Right leg opens out to the side. You're going to roll onto the outside edge of your right foot. And then bring the right leg back in line with the hip so the right foot is flat. Then the left leg opens. You're going to roll lightly onto the outer edge of the left foot. Then bring the left leg back in line with the hip so the foot is landing flat on the mat. Keep going, alternating the legs. Noting the pelvis here stays level as the leg moves away from the body. The opposite leg remains motionless and vertical. Not only are we creating a fixed point with our shoulder girdle, we're also creating a fixed point with our pelvis. By keeping the other leg still, there's no distracting or compensating movements. We can really focus into the hip of the leg that's opening. With the foot on the floor, the weight of the leg is supported. It's a really gentle way to encourage the hip to open, to start to release through the hip flexors. One more right, one more left. Finishing with the left leg whenever you get there, so there's no rush. Once both feet are back to flat, we're going to pick up our right foot, take our right ankle across our left thigh. Just let the legs settle. The arms can relax by your sides or on your tummies, where you won't be tempted to push with your hands. Relax the shoulders, relax your mouth and jaw. We're just allowing time for the hip to settle into this position, which then allows time for the muscles around the hip and thigh to adapt, to relax, and to release. Quite a passive movement. Okay, the right ankle is just resting onto the left thigh. So the weight of the leg is largely supported by the left thigh. And this also buys us some time to assess our right hip. Okay, if you know that you have a history of, or you are prone to getting sciatic pain or symptoms on this right side, or you're getting signs that your sciatic nerve is a little bit irritated or sensitive today, so maybe changes of temperature or sensation emanating from your buttock, maybe migrating into your hip, lower back, into your thigh or leg. So you could get tingling, pins and needles, numbness, coldness, maybe physical sensations like shooting sensations that originate in the buttock, hip, lower back, and start to migrate into the thigh or leg. Okay, all of those are signs that the sciatic nerve is a little irritated or a little sensitive, and we don't really want to apply any more force or traction to that nerve. So if that's the case, leave your left foot on the floor so we're not putting any extra traction through the right sciatic nerve. If we're really comfortable here and we feel it will be beneficial to our body to deepen the hip stretch, then we have an option of reaching the hands forwards, holding onto our left thigh to pick our left foot up off the floor, holding securely so we can relax the legs completely into the hands. The weight of the legs falling into the hands is going to bring the tailbone down onto the mat. So your pelvis feels really flat and level. Your spine feels really flat and long. So we're now creating a fixed, firm, stable anchor point with our pelvis. Chin and jaw relaxed, shoulders relaxed. And then obviously we can't push with our hands because they're holding onto our left leg. Then we're going to gently press our right ankle against our left thigh and very quietly suggest that our right knee moves away from us. It's not a big movement. It may not even be visual. So by anchoring our pelvis to the floor, creating that really stable fixed anchor point, we can really focus the movement into the hip. If the tailbone starts to lift and the pelvis begins to curl away from the ground, the pelvis is no longer stable. So the stretch is going to go into the lower back rather than the hip. So to get the hip, we must stabilize and anchor the pelvis. We can already feel how this stretch is quite different to the one with the foot on the floor, much more active. Good, and then let's put the left foot back down, unhook the right ankle and put the right foot onto the floor so the right foot is flat. Then pick up the left foot, place the left ankle across the right thigh, and again, just relax the arms on your tummy or by your sides, allowing us time for that left hip and its surrounding muscles to adapt to the stretch, to relax and to release. So essentially, we're creating a sense of security and safety for the nervous system, for the muscles, for the joints. That allows the muscles to let go, to soften into the stretch, which is kind of what we want. If the muscles are trying to fight to hold on to us, they're contracting and shortening against the stretch. Again, assess this hip. If you know that you have a history of, or you're prone to getting sciatic symptoms on this side, or you're starting to get signs that the sciatic nerve is less than happy on this side, then we want to keep our right foot on the floor so we're not applying more force, more traction to the sciatic nerve. Nerves don't like to be stretched. If we're really comfortable on this hip, okay, and we feel it will be beneficial to take the stretch a little deeper, there's the option whenever you like of reaching the hands forwards, holding onto our right thigh to lift the foot off the floor, and then again, relaxing the legs fully so all the weight of the legs falls into the hands. We can feel how that brings the tailbone and the pelvis onto the mat so that we're lengthening the back line of the body. So again, relaxing the chin and jaw so the shoulders stay nice and wide and flat. Essentially, we're stretching the back line of the body from the crown of our head to the base of our skull, down our neck, down our upper back, middle back, lower back, and across our hip and buttock. So this is essentially a piriformis stretch. Now, the piriformis muscle is not a muscle that we should need to stretch. Okay, it is not. It's a very deep muscle. It's not a muscle that should require stretching. If it is signaling that it's misbehaving, then we need to investigate why. It's typically because there's something about the pelvis that isn't aligned or functioning optimally. So the reason we have to be very careful with piriformis stretching is unless you have an MRI scan, you really have no idea whether your sciatic nerve goes through the piriformis muscle or very adjacent to it. So whenever we do a piriformis stretch, we can never really be certain whether we're also stretching the sciatic nerve. Okay, put the right foot down. Take the left foot onto the floor. Fab. Okay, we're going to give the knees a little hug. So bring both knees up into the chest, hands on top of the knees, and a little rock forward and back. So now starting to move the legs and pelvis, self-massaging the lower back, slowly and gently. Fabulous. Bring the tailbone down. So again, the pelvis is back to being level, flat, and anchored. Slide the hands behind the knees. Again, relaxing the legs completely over the hands so the legs are loose and floppy. Frog's legs. Using your arms, circle your knees out and together. So the legs are completely relaxed. Okay, that allows more freedom of movement. There's no tension around the thighs, hips, lower back, potentially putting a handbrake on the movement. The arms doing all the work for us. Trying to keep the tailbone down, minimizing movement through our lower back so we get a more focused hip mobilization. And then bringing the knees together, going round the other way. Noticing if it feels the same to hold and maneuver both legs. One might feel slightly heavier or slightly different. And can we explore the inner perimeter of the hip joint with ease? Then bring the knees together. Keep hold of the right knee. Put the left foot onto the floor so the foot is flat. Hands either on top of the knees or behind the knee, doesn't matter, whichever you're comfortable with. And then we're just going to fold our right leg over our right hip. So now the weight and position of this right leg is going to help to pin the right side of the pelvis to the floor, creating a really stable fixed anchor point. Again, relaxing your mouth and jaw, your shoulders. Slowly beginning to slide your left foot towards the bottom of the mat. If you feel your body resisting, gripping, tightening up, holding on to you, stop. Breathe slowly to invite the body to relax and to let go. When you feel that release, you can begin to move again. So your left leg is extended, whether partially or fully. Doesn't matter. Then try to soften around your hips, lower back and shoulders. So now we have the position and the weight of the right leg over the right hip, pinning the right side of the pelvis to the ground. The length of the left leg and gravity is going to open the left hip and stretch the hip flexors. Couple more breaths, just seeing where they take you. Fab. Let's slide our left foot back in so the left foot is flat, right foot to the floor first. And then when you're ready, bring the left knee up over the hip. Hands on top or behind the knee. Fold the leg over the hips, and now the weight of the left leg does all the work in anchoring the left side of the pelvis to the mat. Relaxing the shoulders, your mouth and jaw. And then slowly, gently beginning to send the right foot to the bottom of the mat. Again, if you notice resistance from your body, stop. Slow the breathing. Invite the body to let go. And when it does, continue on your journey. We're looking for those melting moments in our hips, lower back and shoulders. Using the weight of our legs, gravity, the position of the limbs to do all the work for us in stretching through the right hip flexor. All right, and then bend the right knee. Place both feet flat onto the mat. Bring the legs together, feet and thighs. Arms go wide. palms up to ceiling. Again, re-snuggle the shoulders into the mat. We're going to take the legs over to the right-hand side and then smoothly to the left. Keep the legs going now side to side, gluing both shoulders to the mat, creating a really fixed point through our shoulder girdle. With the legs together, we effectively immobilize the knee and the hip joint. We have movement of the legs and the pelvis. So as the pelvis begins to tip and the hip and buttock leave the mat, we get a lovely stretch into our lower back. If our lower back feels a little sensitive today, then we may want to make the movement smaller. If our lower back is having a nice time, then we can take the movement, we can expand the movement and take it a little bit deeper. Good. One more time to the right, one more time to the left. And then from the left-hand side, bring the legs back to the middle. So there's no rush. Bring the legs back to hip width. Lift the arms off the ground into vertical. Palms facing inwards, fingertips to ceiling, shoulders away from ears. Elbows stay straight. Reach up as if to touch the ceiling with your fingertips. And then lower the arms back down. So reach up, touching the ceiling with your fingertips, and then bring the shoulder blades back onto the mat. There's a small movement. As we reach up to the ceiling with our fingertips, we start to round our upper back, moving our shoulder blades away from the upper spine. As we lower the hands back down, we then bring the shoulder blades back into the spine, widening the upper back and those points of contact with the ground. It's a really nice way to create some movement in the scapula, just ungluing the shoulder blades from your upper thoracic spine, having to tease away those stubborn tension knots in between your shoulder blades, in your neck and shoulders. You can take a couple more of these. And then imprinting your shoulders into your mat, taking the arms into the space behind you. And then back down by your sides. Breathing in to reach into the space behind you. We don't need to touch the floor if the shoulders won't go there. Exhale back to the mat. So muscle tension makes the shoulders and arms feel heavier. So how light can your arms be? Can they be as light as a floating feather? Take a couple more. And then when you've done your last one, we're going to just wrap our hands around our shoulders, giving ourselves a little hug. Notice how this gently rounds your upper back, stretching the outside of your shoulders. Okay, relax your chin, jaw, and mouth. And then open both arms out wide to the sides. Actively pull your fingers apart now, and then reach the fingertips away from each other. So we're stretching across the front of the arm, into the front of the shoulder and upper chest. Okay, we're going to roll over onto our side. So rolling onto your side, hip, side, shoulder, and then resting your head onto your bottom arm. Bend the knees forwards, bring the heels back so the legs are bent and in a really stable position to support your balance. Top shoulder and hip in alignment. Top hand just behind your head, resisting the temptation to pull with your hand. Good. Top elbow drops onto the floor in front of you. And then we open the elbow to the back. Rest your head onto your mat. Keep your legs on the floor and just let the elbow open. So bent elbow, bent arm, shorter lever, less traction on your shoulder. And then bring the elbow back, dipping the elbow onto the floor in front of you, breathing in, open. Just let the elbow hang, gently opening the front of the shoulder, but by applying less traction. Assess how your shoulder feels. Okay, come back. Last repetition. Now, if your shoulder feels like it's tolerating the bent elbow, you have the option to extend the arm behind you. It doesn't have to come to the floor, but if it's hanging in midair, assess if that's applying too much pull or traction to the shoulder. If it is, go back and bend your elbow. Notice how the legs are still close to the floor. So I'm not rolling onto my back. My legs are forwards, rotating through the spine to open the front of the shoulder to the ceiling. Couple more breaths, see where they take you. And then roll back onto your side. Gently push your hands down, lift yourself up to sitting, and then swing the feet to the bottom, to the other side of the mat. We're going to roll onto our other side hip, side shoulder. Resting the head onto the bottom arm, bringing the knees forwards and the feet back, top shoulder and hip in alignment. Okay, once you've found your balance and you're set up, top hand lightly behind your head without pulling. Dip the top elbow down to the floor, and then open the elbow to the back, making sure you rest your head onto your mat. Keep the elbow bent. Just allow your shoulder and spine to settle. You might feel this a little bit into your lower back. Okay, roll back to the front. Elbow dips to the ground. Again, keeping the elbow bent on the second repetition. Just let the elbow hang. So short lever, applying a small amount of traction to the shoulder. Assess this shoulder's comfort levels. And then bring the elbow back to the floor in front. Last repetition. This time, if your shoulder is comfortable, you can go ahead and straighten that arm out. Using the length of the arm, the weight of the arm, bit of gravity to really open the front of the shoulder up. Again, a couple more breaths. Just see where they take you. And then bring the hands down to the floor in front of you. Gently pushing yourselves up, coming to seated. So making the legs comfortable, shuffling across both sitting bones. Good. You can roll and a little shake of the shoulders here. Fab. Okay, little twist to the right. Little twist to the left. Good. Coming back to the middle. Slowly breathe in, lift the shoulders up. As high as they'll go, hold the shoulders there, hold your breath. Very slowly breathe out and let the shoulders go. Empty your breath fully, shoulders all the way down. Let's try one more. Breathe in slowly. Scrunch the shoulders up. Hold your breath, hold the shoulders. Now take your time, slowly exhale, emptying all of your breath. All the shoulders come all the way down. Releasing, shake and a shrug out. And well done, guys. Thank you for joining in tonight with Stretch. If you joined us on YouTube, hope you enjoyed the class. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend. And thank you very much. Body Balance on Monday at